right, hi everyone. Today we're going to start off by a little warm welcome from yours truly, Patrick Moffat.
Hey coaches, my name is Patrick Moffat, and I'm an athlete intern with Special Olympics Minnesota.
And hi everyone, my name is Megan Moffat. I'm Patrick's unified partner.
We wanted you to know that we miss you.
And we know this is a tough time for everyone, but please know that Special Olympics Minnesota is working hard to find ways to connect with your team. Although our sports season has changed, the mission of Special Olympics and our strong SOMN community have remained the same.
Thank you so much for sticking by us and staying involved. With your help, we will get through this together.
And we'll come back stronger than ever. There we go. So now we're also going to hand it off to Dave Dorn. Thank you, everyone.
Take it away.
Great. Thanks, Megan, and thanks, Patrick. Great to see your faces and hear from you, and welcome everyone who is joining us here on this coaches meeting. Foremost, from all of us here, we want to wish you all the best and hope that all of you are staying healthy, staying safe, that your families are safe, and those that are ill are getting the care they need. It's a really tough time, and everybody's whole life has changed, from work to obviously social activities and what have you. So first and foremost, we just wish you all the best and that you are enduring this the best way possible. It's crazy. It wasn't that long ago, right after the Eden Prairie Plunge on Tuesday, we were talking about our upcoming state ski meet and the 2 plunges, and we had a meeting with our board, and there was only one case of COVID-19 in the state of Minnesota. And within 2 days, that flipped over with all the pro sports canceling their seasons, and those events were canceled, and we went into a shelter in place not shortly thereafter. I'm sure many of you saw on Wednesday, where Governor Tim Walz actually extended that shelter in place out until May. So 3 more. And it has been really hard on everybody at this. And so, as we're all going through this at the same time, Special Olympics International has come out with their recommendations around gatherings and practices and competitions, and they're recommending that we postpone through the month of May. And so they also recognize, though, that each state is different, each U.S. program different than the other, and really their guidance there, follow your state lead. We've been meeting every week as CEOs from all the different states, as well as a weekly call with SOI and the health professionals that are sit on the board and with the CDC. It's crazy. We are a movement that's about getting together. The social aspect of our movement is 50% what we're all about. We're about inclusion. So this makes it extra hard for all of us, because that's what we're all about, is unified, being inclusive, and being together. And so yet, given this pandemic and the COVID-19, our best prevention, unfortunately, is to shelter in place, which is, can be very isolating. So that's what we're being asked to do. So what we want to make sure is what we're doing is what's best for the health and safety of our athletes, our families, our coaches and volunteers, and follow the guidance of the World Health Association, follow the guidance of the CDC and the Minnesota Department of Health, and along with the orders that we're getting from our governor's office. And as I said, we're having these calls every week to continue to look at what our different options are. So as you see, here in Minnesota, fortunately, we're doing a good job of flattening that curve. We are Minnesotans, we follow rules. And so, but yet while we have probably one of the fewest cases in the US, we still have to follow the rules, still have to shelter in place. With that shelter in place being put into action forth, there's no way that we can have practices. There's no way that we can have gatherings. And so many of you may have seen the email that went out today, but we are officially canceling our 2020 Special Olympics Summer Games as we know them. And also postponing any practices, gatherings, or events until further notice. And so what do we do in the meantime? You know, at the same time, we're building options and capabilities for social interaction. We are working really hard, and maybe you've seen some of the things that have come out from SOI, from Special Olympics North America, or from us as regards to exercise, activity, in partnership with WWE and the School of Strength. And so there's going to be more and more of that coming out. And how do we help, you know, us still stay engaged and stay connected and stay active? And so that's what you're going to hear about today. Is you'll hear from, as we go through the meeting, some of the things that we're working on, some of the things that you know, that will hopefully keep us connected, so that when this is over and we roll out of this, we are rocking and rolling and ready to come together and really celebrate the way we're meant to. You know, I want to send a shout out to people, a lot of coaches and heads of delegation who've been gathering emails for us. And those of you that have updated emailed rosters, it's been great, because that's going to be our vehicle. And so we really appreciate that. We appreciate your patience with everything that we're doing here. And we really look forward to the day when we can all gather back together again. But for now, the wishes from us are, you know, to stay safe, stay sheltered, stay active, and all the best from us. So first and foremost, to hear about some of the upcoming events that we're going to be doing now virtually, I'm going to turn over to Mark Anderson to talk about Summer Games. One thing before we do that, as you can tell, I don't have somebody telling me exactly what to do till the slide pops up. So some housekeeping notes. So this meeting is going to be recorded. You can see right there, and distributed. So anybody that you know that might have missed tonight, they can see that. If you have questions during the meeting, click on the Q&A function, and we'll try to get to every question tonight. But any questions you don't have, we'll answer them and get them through your program manager. So anything else that you have there, you can call the number that you see there if you can't hear the audio, and they'll get you tuned in. So look at the Q&A function there at the bottom of your screen, and we'll try to get to every question tonight that we can. So now we'll turn it over to Mark Anderson.
All right, thanks, Dave. And like David mentioned, we did send an email out regarding upcoming events, including our cancellation of Summer Games, and that's a decision that we don't take lightly, and we are saddened to cancel it as we know it, as it's been hosted at University of St. Thomas. But while we were making that decision, one thing we didn't want to do was just say it's canceled and leave it at that. We wanted to provide an opportunity for athletes, coaches, partners, families to still come together as a community and compete like they normally do. How you do that in this day and age right now is a lot different. So we've spent the last week and a half crafting a plan that we hope is something that athletes, coaches, partners, families will all find an opportunity to engage with if they'd like to. So what we are doing is we are going to offer an at-home practice season for all athletes, unified partners, and coaches. Everyone can participate in this. We've simplified events down. We're going to offer 14 summer sports-like events. They will be modeled after an individual skills, but even simpler than that. For example, how many free throws can you make out of 20 shots? How many layups can you make out of 20? Or what's your 50-yard dash time? Or how far can you jump? We've simplified events. We're providing 14 options for people to choose from. You could pick one, you could pick two, you could pick all 14. So we've simplified the events that we're going to offer, and we are going to open up our practice season beginning next week, next Monday. At that time, you'll get all athletes, partners, coaches, family members who have an email address on file will get information about how this works. I will mention HODs, we will send out a detailed email later this week with all the information that you'll hear here. Also, if any questions come up that we'll be able to answer, we'll answer them in the email this week. Our website currently, if you look at the link on the bottom, is up to date. It's live right now, so you can visit that for the most up-to-date information regarding Summer Games. But our goal with the practice season really is to engage athletes, keep them busy if there's interest in doing so. And then at the culminating end of the season, we want to bring everyone together virtually to share in the successes that our athletes have at all points, regardless if that's competing in person on a basketball court or a track and field. We want to share in the successes that the athletes have had during their practice season, and we'll use those qualifying scores that athletes get to division and award them. So coming together at the very end of the season. We'll have a virtual summer games that we're inviting everyone to tune into. That'll be Wednesday, May 27th. We'll present some results. We'll have a celebration ceremonies, and we'll have some video messages for everyone during that time. There's obviously a lot more details that we would like to provide, and that'll come out on the website and then in emails this week and then next week. But please don't hesitate to ask any questions, to email us. Our goal is to make this as simple as we can and not to task any HODs, any coaches, any delegations with taking this on. So we have put some steps in place that have made this an easy process for families or athletes to take on, so that HODs and coaches don't have to register everyone on their team like they normally would. So this is a little different, but please be on the lookout for our email coming out later this week. And then we're happy to answer those questions once we get that email out to everyone. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Richardson. She will provide some information on some other ways we're engaging athletes at home.
Hi, I'm Sarah. So I'm a program manager with Special Olympics. And I just want to introduce you to some awesome new resources and a new page that was just added to our website. So if we flip back a slide, I know many athletes and coaches are looking for ideas on how to stay involved and connected with their team from home. And we have those for you. So our staff has been working hard to compile and develop resources for you and your delegation. And so now these can be found from the homepage of our website. So if you just go to somn.org and click on the big red banner at the top of the screen that reads SOMN at home, there it'll take you to the page that you see in front of you. And so here's just a quick overview of what we have to offer. So we have a health and wellness tile, and we'll take a closer look at that later with Kelsey. But then we also have a young athletes tile, and here it just includes information on how to conduct young athletes activities from home. For all of our gamers out there, we have an esports tile, and here you can find a sign-up form to join our esports community. There's also an athlete leadership tile where you can find videos and you can share videos on what people are doing to continue the mission of Special Olympics. We also have a unified schools tile, and that outlines ways for students and educators to showcase their unified movement from home. And then finally, there's a tile that reads home engagement survey, but soon this will flip to say HOD and coach. This is a place where you can read and share best practices and really just discuss what you're doing to stay connected with your team. So just please take a look at this page. There are many ideas and resources on just ways to connect with your delegation. So now let's switch over and talk a little bit about Leadership University. So I'm very excited to announce that our traditional Leadership University planned for July will now be modified and offered in a new online format. So after careful discussion and review with everything going on with COVID-19, we made the decision to modify Leadership University and offer it in this new online format. While we will miss the opportunity to see everyone in person, we're really excited about the opportunity to explore accessible training options and reach more participants across the state. So I think 2020 will be a year of growth, but it'll allow us to navigate virtual education and I think ultimately expand our curriculum and our offerings for many years to come. So it's all positive things. So what does that mean for 2020? So here's kind of just an outline of what you can expect. So for those of you who don't know what Leadership University is, it's a leadership training that empowers individuals with and without intellectual disabilities to be advocates and leaders in their community. So who is Leadership University for? It is for all athletes and unified partners interested in taking these leadership courses. So unlike the traditional Leadership University, athletes do not need a unified partner to participate. And likewise, unified partners can register without an athlete. So it truly is for everyone. So classes will be offered in June, July, and August, so across the whole summer. Each course will meet once a week and they'll meet 4 times a month for an average of about 2 hours per session. Classes will be held from 6:30 to 8:30 at night, and more information on all of those specifics can be found on our webpage. But important dates to remember are registration open and deadlines. Registration is actually open right now. So if you go onto our website, you can register for courses. And all of the deadlines close 2 weeks prior to the first class. But again, those are listed on our website. But just to note, athletes and unified partners can register for multiple classes throughout the summer or even multiple classes in the same month. So Leadership University will be broadcasted through Zoom. So it's actually the same platform that we are using right now. And it'll allow for participants to be able to interact with their class live, ask questions, and after each class, if you miss a class one night, it'll be recorded and sent out to all participants after the class is done. So all you need to do, again, is register online, and then you'll receive an email with a link to Zoom, similar to what you did tonight. And what classes are offered. In June, we have athletes as volunteers. In July, we will have civic engagement and career development. And then in August, we'll have athletes as coaches and beginning global messengers. The last thing to note is that the courses are $25 per person. And if you do need to register with a unified partner for additional support, there's no added fee. So I really hope to see just the wide range of participants that we can get. And I really think that, again, we can just expand the participation across the whole state. So I'm really excited. But now I'm going to switch it over to Patrick and Megan Moffitt, who just have a short message about Leadership University.
Hi everyone, my name is Patrick Moffitt. I'm an intern with my sister Megan at Special Olympics Minnesota. We began our unified journey in high school, but I would say we really developed our unified relationship during my first experience in athlete leadership. Together, Megan and I took Beginner Global Messenger, a class centered around speech presentation and advocacy, spreading the Special Olympics Minnesota mission. As someone who has never given speeches before, I wasn't sure if I was capable of speaking in front of an audience. My sister supported me during my brainstorming, writing, and presenting of my speech, granting me the title of Global Messenger by the end of the weekend. I remember after the weekend was over, I felt very empowered and capable. So much so I met Dave Jordan and told him that someday I would take over his job. To this day, I have given countless of speeches in front of hundreds of people, a challenge I would never have attempted before athlete leadership. You see, athlete leadership is more than just education for individuals with intellectual disabilities. It is about empowering individuals with intellectual disabilities, giving them the tools to create long-lasting impacts in their communities through classes like Beginner Global Messenger, career development, civic engagement, even unified art. Athletes are given the opportunity to learn about themselves, gain confidence, acquire new tools, and feel influential. This translates into personal life, family life, and in their communities, creating a rippling effect that is truly hard to ignore. As for myself, athlete leadership has transformed my life. I've become more confident, powerful, and developed, leading me to my incredible internship with SLMN and to meeting the countless people who are a part of the Special Olympics family through my speech presentations. I'm proud to work on the athlete leadership team to continue to make these courses available to everyone with intellectual disabilities, and I invite everyone to come and join us as we grow as a program. Thank you. Now, without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Luann. with delegation raffle information.
Thank you, Patrick. Hi, everyone. We are looking forward to offering the delegation raffle again this year. We had planned to kick it off in mid-May, but because of our current situation, we are now planning for mid-June. The raffle drawing will take place on September 25th, which will give everybody all summer to still sell tickets, and that includes a couple holiday weekends as well. As you can see from the slide, tickets are $5 each, and we'll be awarding 3 prizes. For those of you who haven't participated before, it's a great way to raise support for your delegation, since 100% of the funds come back to your team. If you know that you want to participate this year, send me an email and I'll get you on a list to update you as we go along. And now I'll pass you on to Zach.
Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a program manager for Special Olympics Minnesota. I will be talking to you about our snowshoe season recap. So, as many of you know, Special Olympics Minnesota introduced snowshoeing as our newest sport for the winter season. As a pilot year, we hosted 2 competitions in Minnesota to kind of let our athletes, coaches, and unified partners get accustomed to our newest opportunity. Perfect. So kind of to go over the 2 competitions. So Special Olympics Minnesota hosted 2 snowshoe competitions, a Metro snowshoe competition in Theodore Wirth Park in Minneapolis, and the Northern Minnesota snowshoe competition in Grand Rapids High School. For both of those events, we offered 4 races. We offered the 25-meter race, the 50-meter race, the 100-meter race, and the unified aspect, the 50-meter unified race. For the Metro Snowshoe competition, we had 4 delegations compete with 30 athletes and 17 unified pairs. And for Northern Minnesota, we also had 4 delegations with 22 athletes competing and 19 unified pairs as well. So if your delegation is interested in starting up snowshoeing next year, please reach out to your program manager and we can give you some more information. Hopefully a few of these testimonials that I will be showing you here give you a better idea of why your delegation should offer snowshoeing. So some athletes, coaches, and unified partners from Team Itasca stated that snowshoeing was a wonderful opportunity to get together with fellow athletes and learn something new to do outside in the winter. It's important to get out as much as we can all year long, and we hope that it continues. Next, we had the HOD from Team Itasca also add getting outdoors in the winter. Getting outdoors in the winter was a great way to stay active, and I highly recommend it to all. It's a great sport that can be done in everyone's everyday life to stay active in our snowy winters. And then lastly, we had the HOD from St. Michael's say, our first season of snowshoeing was fantastic. My favorite thing about our season was watching the growth of our athletes who came into our first practice very apprehensive about snowshoes strapped to their feet. But by the second practice, these same athletes were full out running in their snowshoes, beating our coaches and unified partners and loving it. I'd highly encourage other teams to consider giving snowshoeing a shot next year. You won't regret it. So as you can see, our first year Special Olympics Minnesota snowshoeing was very successful, and we hope your delegation considers joining in on the fun next year. Just to reiterate, if you have any questions regarding snowshoeing, please reach out to your program manager, and we'd be happy to help you out. I will now hand it over to Kelsey Sparks, who will talk about Health at Home resources.
Thank you, Zach. So I'm Kelsey, and I am going to share my screen with you guys and walk you through specifically the health and wellness resources and activities that we have on that Health at Home page that Sarah mentioned. So here is our home page, and Sarah mentioned that there is a red button. So as you scroll down, it's kind of that first thing that you're going to see here. And if you click on it, it will lead you to all of the SOMN at home resources. And the first one here is the Health and Wellness tab. If you click on the red link, it will lead you to all the different options of activities that we have available. So I'm just going to briefly walk through each of them, just so you guys are aware of where they are, what they are, and how to utilize them. So the first one is going to be our Fit 5 tracker. So if people aren't familiar with Fit 5, it's a resource that we have that focuses on components of fitness, specifically 3, your physical activity, nutrition, and hydration. And then there's goals around those 3 components that they encourage athletes to strive for. And down here, as we scroll down, there's a Fit 5 tracker, and you can open that. You can just have it on your browser, on your phone, or if you do have that accessibility to a printer, you can feel free to do that as well. And then once you do that Fit 5 tracker, I'll just pull it up for everyone. It gives you a 2-week, and you'll just log your exercise, nutrition, and hydration daily there. And then after that 2-week period, just right below here on that same page, you're going to get the report. And so you can fill this out, your name and information, and then down here, exactly what you put on that PDF tracker is what you would put here for the 2 weeks. And you'll submit that, and then we are doing a drawing for an Apple Watch, and anyone can feel free to do this, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a unified partner, our coach. We recommend that anyone get involved. And then as we go down, the next one is our WWE School of Strength that Sona and SOI did in partnership with WWE. So here they have 4 videos that you can participate in. The first one is just going to be a warm up, a welcome. And then as you go down, it has different videos that focus on different areas of fitness. So endurance, strength, balance, and then it has showcases Special Olympic athletes as well there. So those are videos that, again, anyone can take advantage of. They're really fun to do. And then here as well, just to focus on some stress management, some relaxing techniques, we have this PDF that, again, SOI created on how to manage your stress, especially I think during these times of unknown. Things can get stressful, and this is a special thing to take advantage of there. And then we have just a reminder of our SOFIT program, our unified SOFIT program, focusing on our 4 pillars of wellness there, the physical, nutritional, emotional, and social. And if anyone does want the manual during this time or the athlete guidebook as well, feel free to email me and I can send you just a PDF version of that as well if that's something that you're interested in utilizing during this time too. And then our last one is something that we just started in the month of April. It is our walk and roll. And so during the month of April, we're really encouraging people to get outside. Started out really nice. We got some weird weather. So hopefully by the weekend, we'll have it cleared out here with the snow and have some sunshine out. But this right here, you can access our tracker. And so each week in the month of April, you'll submit the amount of hours that you either walked, ran, biked, rolled, whichever your preference is. And you will then go to our tracking form here and you'll be able to fill out your information and then log those hours that you either walked, rolled, ran that week. And so that is kind of that intro to our health and wellness page on that SOMN at Home page. If you have any questions, again, please reach out to me. Thank you. Oh, and I will introduce then Kelly, who will be up next.
Hi, everybody. Kelly Monicati, and I'm going to talk about the swim policy. But before I do that, I just wanted to take the opportunity that I have the floor here to talk really quickly about the beauty of these at-home programs, the summer program or the summer games virtually that Mark talked about, as well as all the things that Kelsey talked about, are obviously on that page, athletes at home, engaging athletes at home. But as Sarah mentioned, that one tile will switch to a coach HOD tile by tomorrow. And we know that many of you as HODs and head coaches want to have a way to structurally engage your athletes on your delegation and get them up and moving. Again, the beauty of this program is that anybody can do it. An athlete can do it on their own if they would like to, but an HOD or a head coach can also encourage the delegation to do things as a group. And some HODs are requesting that information where they can put out maybe a competition or a contest out to their delegation to try and do some of these things, and know that you can go to that tile and find all of those options there and figure out ways to engage your delegation. So I would just want to make sure that you knew that that tile is going to be up and running by tomorrow, and utilize that as you see fit to engage the rest of your delegation. It's a really unique opportunity to be able to do it as a team or do it individually. Then we unfortunately are going to talk about the swim policy. We just want to review that for you. The Special Olympics U.S. Risk Management and Insurance Task Force for Special Olympics Incorporated has required all states to adhere to a no recreational swimming policy. At this time, we've sent out the details of that policy for Special Olympics Minnesota, and it's also now noted in the program administration guide, which is on our website in the coaches portal. This policy outlines that swimming at official Special Olympics swim team practices and Special Olympics swimming competitions is permitted, but recreationally swimming while attending any Special Olympics activity is not permitted. This includes team parties, outings to water parks, and swimming at hotel pools while staying to attend a Special Olympics event. We realize this is a drastic change for some delegations, but we know you share our belief that the safety and health of our athletes is of utmost importance, and can appreciate that these precautions were not developed arbitrarily, but as a priority for the safety of those in our movement and deemed warranted based on history. As leaders and HODs, head coaches with Special Olympics Minnesota, we trust that you'll help us by following through on this policy. Since most of the questions at this point are situationally specific, please feel free to email your program manager with those questions rather than utilizing a Q&A function tonight. We will be better able to help dive into those details and help you in that way. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and I will turn it over to Ashley Skripek for a finance update.
Thank you, Kelly. So I have a few finance updates for you today. First, just want to make sure you're aware that when you fill out any forms, applications, or paperwork that's outside the organization, that you're using the main office address and contact information when you are filling those out, instead of using the information specifically for your delegation. We all have one EIN number and we are all one organization, so it's important that we use the same contact information. Putting delegation-specific information on these forms can lead to confusion with outside organizations that we want to avoid. We have had instances in the past when delegations have used a specific coach's information on these forms, which has resulted in all Special Olympics Minnesota communications being sent to that coach specifically, which that's something no one wants. So just make sure you're using our main office contact information when you fill out forms. And then also looking into the future, we wanted to let you aware of an option delegations have when staying at hotels. If your delegation decides that you're going to stay at a hotel for a competition or event, the state office can pay for that lodging with a credit card and charge that to your centralized account that way, instead of doing a traditional expense reimbursement or check request. This eliminates the need for a coach or a volunteer to put that bill on their card and have to be reimbursed later. So when you go ahead and reach out to the hotel about booking rooms, let them know that you want to pay for the whole group of rooms ahead of time. Send me your contact information for the person at the hotel you're reaching out with, and I can get that bill paid for. And then usually in those kind of situations, you'll still have to take a card when you check in, but they won't charge your card unless you have any sort of incidentals besides normal room charges. And then the last update I wanted to show you guys is some updates we have made to the centralized accounting website. Let me pull up the website for you here so you guys can see. Okay, so here we have the centralized accounting website. So for the overall feel of the website didn't change. We just made some enhancements that we hope you guys will like. The first enhancement that we made, is we made some of these headers a little more intuitive. So we have the all revenue processed. That shows you all items that we have received at the state office and have put into your centralized account. So it's a great place to go. So like if you see here on your main page, you have a deposit for $300, you're not sure which individuals that is for, you can go to this all revenue process page and it lists out each person who donated, how much and who they were. We also have the revenue report submitted and the expense report submitted pages. Those are just copies of the revenue and expense reports that you have filled out in the past. So you can, if you're not sure if you have submitted a form previously, you can see that. And the biggest changes we made on here was in the actual revenue and expense forms. So let me pull those up for you. So one big change we made on the revenue form is we made it so it's no longer limited the number of checks you can put on there. If you have filled this out previously, it used to be only 10 checks per form. Now it should be unlimited. So if you have multiple, so you could add as many checks as you need. So if you're filling out large amounts here. And also we have created this great new copy above row button. So if you have a bunch of program checks or a bunch of checks that are pretty much the same, you can fill out your form the first time and then hit copy row, and then it copies the whole row down and you can just make changes, maybe just the check number or just the date, and just keep copying it down instead of having to fill out each information separately. So those are kind of the changes on the revenue form. And on the expense form, the biggest change we made to this, which I'm super excited about, is the upload receipt button. So now when you fill out the expense report, you have the option of adding a PDF, JPEG, GIF, attachment to the expense form. And then when you go ahead and hit submit, we get not only the expense form, but also the receipt. So once you hit the submit form, you're done. As long as we get the receipt and the expense form, there's no other information that we need from you. So that's super exciting. And that's about all I have for you. I will turn it over to Amy. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. We're always looking for ways to say thank you to our coaches, and I figured now would be a nice time in our webinar to take a quick breather and say thank you very much, and for all your hard work as always. I know this is a really, really difficult time right now, but we're all in this together, you know. It is what it is. So I just want to take a quick second to remind you that all coaches get 20% off at FanStop. So it's 20% off one purchase, and it's good for in-person competitions. So the next time, whenever that is, when we have an in-person competition and we're selling FanStop there, yeah, you'll get 20% off one purchase. So that's fun, right? So thank you again very much for your hard work and your patience, and yeah, just dealing with all this with us, you know, we're all in it together. All right, I'm going to hand it off to Laura to talk about Unified Champion Schools.
Hi friends, I'm Laura. I wanted to share some maybe different information than a lot of you are familiar with. I work for Special Olympics Minnesota as Unified Schools Associate, so I'm able to work with schools to help promote this great inclusive programming. I just, again, wanted to share a little bit more about it for those that may or may not know. Unified Champion Schools is essentially a strategy to promote inclusion and the unified movement through a variety of activities and experiences in schools across the state. So we partner with these schools and we're able to share resources, host events, and basically work hand in hand to ensure students of all abilities are included in their schools. And again, just to promote the message of the unified movement. So that being said, we wanted to share and celebrate the growth that we've had over the past year with you. Before schools were closed, we were actually able to hit our goal. So right now in Minnesota, we have 125 Unified Champion schools. So with all of those schools, we were reaching thousands of students who will be our next leaders, our next volunteers, our next coaches, HODs, athletes, unified partners, all the above. So it's been a wonderful year with them. We of course hope to see them again next fall. And so with that being said, if you know of any schools that would want to participate next fall in Unified Champion Schools, we would love to hear from you and to make that connection. So on this slide, please feel free to contact the email address that is on this slide and reach out with any questions you may have, or again, if you know of a contact that would be interested in bringing the unified movement to their school, we would love to hear from you. So again, thank you all for what you do. I'm going to pass it off to Jake, who will talk about online registration.
Hello, so we just want to inform you of an awesome online registration tutorial that we have up on the website now. And essentially what that is, it's a walkthrough for new HODs, or if you just need a refresher on how to utilize our registration process for registering your coaches, athletes, and unified partners for a competition. We put together a tutorial for that. We also will be creating some more videos to post on our website, such as a coaches portal walkthrough, a fundraising guide, which will be new and updated, a recruitment toolkit, completing an athlete application, and run through of centralized accounting, among others. If you have any suggestions or recommendations of other online tutorials and trainings you'd like to see, please reach out to your program manager. That'll be the last slide, I believe. So before we kick it over to any Q&A that we haven't got to yet.
Hey everyone, thanks again for your time tonight. Mike Kane with Special Olympics Minnesota. I am the guy trying to answer all your questions. Thank you. I'm probably the wrong guy because I type really slow and I seem not to have all the answers. But let me reiterate to you that we keep a log of this. So we will make sure we address every question. We'll have a program manager reach out to you or an individual that presented tonight to make sure we answer your questions. I'm feverishly trying to catch up and take notes. Great questions. I just want to take an opportunity to reiterate some points I heard tonight. Again, what troubling times this is for all of us, and in this new world that we live in. And I want to assure that Special Olympics is doing absolutely everything we can, of course, to first and foremost make sure you're all safe, our athletes are all safe, but we also know the void in their lives without Special Olympics. We are so connected through Special Olympics in our mission, and I know there's a vacuum there, there's a void there. So I'm really excited to see the effort of trying to engage with our athletes online. That's one of the blessings of this circumstance is we as an organization now are trying to communicate and engage with our athletes directly. While we still depend on you as coaches so often as their mentors, as their leaders, as their role models, we are also doing our best to communicate directly with those athletes so they can see and feel Special Olympics in their homes as we all weather this, as all you are weathering this, as sports organizations are weathering this. And I know we'll come out in the end stronger for it. That being said, I did have a few questions I wasn't able to get an answer to, and sorry, they just keep rolling in. So I'm going to queue up a few staff. For the raffle question, Luann's going to, thanks for that question. Luann's going to do a little homework and get back to the individual that asked that question. There was a question in regards for those of you that are thinking about bocce, golf, softball, you know, those next things right after summer games. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to continue to hang tight. What you heard today was, you know, no Special Olympics activities, no gatherings until you hear differently. What we are doing is we are consulting with the CDC, with Special Olympics North America, with the Department of Health, and following our governor with his recommendations. And as you all heard, we're sheltering at home until May 4th. Once we understand what the guidance is after that, Special Olympics will rally with our leadership and announce what our next step is. So I think it's important. I can't give you direct advice in regards to, well, you know, what is July going to look like? What is August going to look like? We're doing our best to read the tea leaves, but what we really need to do is wait until May 4th and look at that recommendation as we start to get back out into hopefully a beautiful summer. But we really have to do so very carefully, especially when we're talking about gathering together as a group, whether that's as simple as a practice or a competition. So hang tight, hang with us. You'll see an update from Special Olympics. We will typically update anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. You'll always hear an update from us on that aspect. But at the same time, you all know your program managers. Reach out with those questions that you may have, or if you're getting requests that you simply can't answer. So I'm going to get into some other questions. A list of Unified Champion Schools movement participants. Guys, real quick, I'll just answer this one for Laura. There's over 125 Unified Champion Schools. If you're looking for your specific Unified Champion School, please reach out to Laura, or I'll have Laura reach out to you. I have a log of your question here. Arlen and D. Christensen, any stats you can provide as far as swim accidents? Again, I'm not addressing swim policy here tonight. You can follow up with your program manager, but I want to reiterate that the Special Olympics North America developed a task force that the individuals that we follow. So this was a directive from Special Olympics North America that we need to follow to ensure the safety of our athletes. So again, we can follow up with your individual program manager or myself to discuss this policy further, but it is coming down from Special Olympics North America, and we in no way want to be outside of those parameters and general rules. We need to fall in line with what Special Olympics is. Do you have any more information about golf season or bocce season? Again, I'll kind of fall back on and reiterate, I hate to say this again, but to be determined. And at this point in time, no, we do not, but we will have an update later on this spring. And again, once we get more guidance from the Minnesota Department of Health, and as those restrictions are lifted, we will follow suit. I'm optimistic that we'll get back, but I really can't make those promises. This is a fun one. Just wanted to say appreciate everyone's hard work. SOMN. Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate that. And that's great to hear. Silly question, but has Emily had her baby? Yes, she has. Hey, Kelly, well, we won't get into it, but yes, if you want more information about Emily, Kelly knows a lot of that. You can connect with Kelly Monicati. Another comment about summer games, about all the activities. Okay, just listed all the different activities. So again, go to the website and check out Summer Games online. Okay, so I think that's it. Again, everyone, thank you for your continued patience with us. Special Olympics will come back. We will come back stronger. Bear with us. And I can't wait to see all of our athletes and you guys back training again. Just hang tight. We will get there. And again, if you have a question that I didn't address tonight, I promise you that a program manager will reach out to you and connect with you. Until then, I can't wait to see you guys again. Stay safe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.